Ambassador to the United Nations Linda Thomas-Greenfield attends an emergency meeting of the UN Security Council in New York on October 18, 2023. Fadi Acta Sanadolu via on Wednesday. The United States became the only country to vote no on a Brazilian-drafted UN Security Council resolution calling for humanitarian pauses in Israel's ing of Gaza. 12 countries voted for the resolution, including many surprising countries like France and the United Arab Emirates. 2 more abstained from Russia and the UK. But under Security Council rules, America's single no vote meant the resolution failed. Human Rights Watch criticized America's actions, saying, "The United States has once again cynically used its veto power to prevent the UN Security Council from taking action on Israel and Palestine during an unprecedented." There are 15 countries in the Security Council. 10 are rotating members elected by the UN General Assembly and serve on the Council for a 2-year term. If any permanent member vetoes a resolution, it will not pass, no matter how many votes there are. This means that any permanent member can veto any action by the Security Council. Since Russia's full invasion of Ukraine in February 2022, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has made fiery speeches denouncing the injustice of Russia's veto power, which it has used 4 times over Ukraine. Here are some of what Zelensky said directly to the Security Council. 6 weeks after Russia attacked Ukraine, we are faced with a state that has turned veto in the UN Security Council into right to die. This undermines the entire architecture of global security. This allows them to go unpunished, so they destroy everything they can. So if this continues, countries will rely only on the power of their own weapons to ensure their security, not on international law or international institutions. The United Nations could simply be shut down. The UN system needs to be reformed immediately so that right veto does not become a right of death, and that every region in the world is fairly represented in Security Council. Zelensky spoke about this issue again in a lengthy Twitter thread last month. Years of discussions and projects on UN reform need to be transformed into a workable process. The use of veto power is what requires reform. And this could be an important reform that would restore the power of the UN Charter. The veto should not serve those obsessed with hatred and war. September 20, 2023. It is true that Zelensky has no principled disagreement with the veto power. This week he said nothing about the US veto. Moreover, Hamas has no principled objection to one nation invading and occupying other people's lands, as evidenced by its unconditional support for Israel since the October 7 attacks. Like most world leaders, he's a funny, run-of-the-mill hypocrite who wants different rules for himself and his allies. However, what Zelensky said about the Security Council's veto